before we begin, I'm required to ask you if you're aware and okay with us filming this.
Yes.
Okay, please state your name and age.
I'm Emily McKessie, and I'm 17 years old.
And Emily, are you depressed?
Yes.
And you have been suicidal in the past?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prior to what we have in our report, had you ever attempted to kill yourself?
Is this really necessary?
I'm sorry, I know that it's difficult, but we need to know.
Yes, I have.
And how did you try to do that?
I slit my wrists.
Pills.
I tried to hang myself.
No, I never actually tried.
Until now?
Until now.
So, from the beginning, tell me what happened.
Well, it started with a simple note in my locker.
It looked like an official note from the school. I assumed that everyone got one.
What did it say?
It said, going through some tough times, call our new at-home 24/7 counseling line. And then it gave a number.
I actually have it here with me.
Can you show it to the camera first?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And so, how soon did you actually call?
I waited a little while. I was in a relatively good place when I got it, but I held on to it.
Oh, I didn't keep it. I threw it away. It was a week later that another one came in the mail. The return address on the envelope was, of course, the school's address. And this time I decided to keep it.
Did you not talk to anyone about it?
I didn't really see any point. It was just some weird thing that the school was doing.
I mean, I'm not especially close with any of my classmates, so I didn't really get a chance to ask anyone else if they got one.
I was just really distraught that night. I didn't really think about it. I kind of just saw it as this perfectly timed sign. If I hadn't called that night, it probably would have come up in a conversation the next day.
And when you called, what happened?
A boy answered. He had a deep voice, kind of soothing, really.
What did he say?
He gave a somewhat generic opening. He said, "Hello, my name is Jacob Leach from the counseling line. Who's calling?" I remember it clearly. Something about the way he said it made it feel personal. It was such a hauntingly perfect, friendly tone.
Do you know Jacob?
No, not personally. I knew he was in my class, but I only heard the name in passing.
Nope.
Yeah, but I've never talked to him.
Yeah, I know him. We're not super close. It definitely wasn't his voice on the other end. I realize that now.
What was said next?
Well, I was a little hesitant at first, surprised to know that another student was on the hotline. He could tell from my pause and told me not to worry. This call is completely confidential. I'm here to help. I told him my name and he asked why I was calling.
I told him I wasn't exactly sure. It was a lot of things. And they're weighing you down, he said. And I said yes. He told me that he was there to help, to listen.
So I told him everything, and he listened. He made me feel like I had a friend for the first time in forever.
It was at this point that there was a shift. The peaceful tone transformed and started to become almost giddy.
I'd been speaking everything to him for like 20 minutes. And I finally stopped. And after a moment of silence, he asked me, "Are you thinking about doing anything?" It would have seemed innocent and caring if it weren't for the way he said it. He said it hopefully. It was obvious what he was implying.
I wasn't sure if I'd heard him right, When I didn't answer, he told me to roll up my sleeves and look at the marks. He told me my problem was that I'd done it wrong, and he suggested that I make a new cut and text him a picture so he could teach me how to do it right.
He said swallowing random pills isn't enough. I should try something that I know is strong. Commit.
I told him I'd considered it, and he asked me why I hadn't done it. I told him I didn't know why. You're scared, aren't you? He asked me, and I was. Are you worried it'll hurt? I was. He told me there was an easy solution. He told me to go to the garage and turn the car on. He told me to just go to sleep.
And you tried?
Yeah, I did. I think he told me to stay on the phone, but I was too distraught. I hung up, went downstairs, and got the keys. I turned on the car and sat there for 4.5 minutes. I kept checking my watch for the time. When it turned 12:35, I turned it off and rushed inside. I cried myself to sleep that night. He'd been right. I was too scared.
How long did you wait to talk to someone?
It was the next day. At first, I didn't tell my parents. I wasn't going to tell anyone until I saw my friend Luke. You could tell I was upset, I guess. So is that it?
Just one more question. Did you know Jessica Osteen?
No. Sorry.
I've heard the name, I think, but no.
I knew of her. That's about it.
She's the girl that killed herself, isn't she? Do you think this is connected?
Please state your name and age for the record.
Jacob Leach, I'm 18 years old.
Did you know Jessica Osteen?
Yeah, we dated for a short time last year.
How did that end?
It wasn't exactly pretty. Haven't really talked to her since.
Okay. Where were you on Tuesday, March 24th between 10 and 11 p.m.?
Oh my God, you think it was murder? Am I a suspect?
Please answer the question.
I was at home working on homework. Oh my God.
Did you receive any phone calls during that time?
No, I lost my phone a week earlier, around the 16th. I couldn't find it after tennis practice. I didn't get a replacement until the 27th, I think.
Seems like a long time for a teenager like you to be without a phone. Why'd you wait so long?
Honestly, I don't use mine all that much. Plus, I'd assumed it may turn up somewhere or be handed into the front office or something.
So you were not making any calls over the course of those few weeks?
No, why do you ask?
Is it possible someone may have taken your phone?
I mean, it's certainly possible. I keep my bag out in the open on the courts. I never leave it in the lockers. Forgot my combination one too many times. Someone could have passed by when I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry, how is this connected to Jessica?
There have been several reports of people receiving flyers that appear to be from your school advertising a 24/7 counseling hotline. The number listed belongs to you. We think Jessica may have received one of these flyers. Do you know who may have taken your phone?
Well, I can assure you I have no connection. Maybe Brandon. He's the only person who I actually remember passing my bag.
Brandon
Carner.
Brandon Carner, age 17.
Brandon, at any time in the last month, have you been in possession of Jacob Leach's cell phone?
Yes.
Did you have his permission?
Yes. One afternoon I called my parents. My phone died.
Did you have access to his phone on March 16th?
No.
Did you ever take his phone without his permission?
No.
Where were you on Tuesday, March 24th, between 10 and 11 p.m.?
I was at Tim's house, staying the night.
And who is Tim?
I'm Tim Maddox. I'm 17. 18, sorry. I'm 18. My birthday was earlier this week.
Where were you on Tuesday, March 24th, between 10 and 11 p.m.?
I was with my friend, Brandon, at my house.
Were either of you in possession of Jacob Leach's cell phone?
No. I mean, I knew it was missing at the time.
Do you think someone may have stolen it?
I doubt it. I mean, it's certainly possible.
Jacob says that it went missing after tennis practice. Do you have any idea who may have taken it during that time?
Honestly, it could have been anyone. A lot of the guys like to keep our bags on the court. Anyone who wanted to take something could have very well taken it from someone's bag.
Is there anyone you can think of? Anything even slightly suspicious?
No, sir. Nothing.
Please state your name and age for the record.
Certainly. I'm Luke Teller, and I'm 18 years old, and I'm happy to help.
You're friends with Emily Mackesy, correct?
Of course. I mean, who wouldn't be? She's a bit of a mess, but that's what makes her great.
And she came to you about a phone call with someone pretending to be Jacob Leach.
She mentioned something about it.
Did she give you any other information?
She said a bit.
Did you have any suspicions about who it was?
Nope.
Seriously, anything you could tell us would help.
You're really going off hunches. You seriously know nothing.
Look, I'll be honest with you. We don't have a clue. You're our last interview of the day, and we've gone through every possible lead. I want nothing more than to find this fucker, but I feel helpless.
It must be so hard on her family not knowing who made her do this.
Sorry, who?
Well, Jessica, obviously. Her family's had to go through so much suffering. That's who this is about, right?
Mr. Teller, when was the last time that
You're pathetic.
What?
You're pathetic. I genuinely thought you could do better than this.
Mr. Teller, I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Just keep asking your questions, Mr. Detective.
When Emily confided in you, what did she say?
Oh, the typical depressing shit. You know, she's so sad and unhappy and so on.
Mr. Teller, I'm having a hard time understanding your tone. Are you taking this seriously?
Sure, of course I am. Emily is such a great friend. Anyway, I'm sure she told you the same. She said that she had called the hotline and that the person who answered tried to get her to kill herself. I told her exactly what she wanted to hear. You know, that I was there for her and all that poor shit. And she ate it up. Her eyes were full of such earnest fear. I love that look. It's the most accentuated emotion. There's such beauty in it.
Mr. Teller.
I don't know if you know this, but I actually heard the same kind of stories from the other girls too. Taylor, Olivia, Chelsea, Jess. I bet that's not in your records. I knew Jess Ghost and we were wonderful friends.
Mr. Teller, do you know how Jessica died?
Not exactly. I mean, I know that she killed herself, but I don't know much more than that. I'd have to have been there for any more information. But you know what I bet happened? I think she drove out to the pier late in the night. She stepped out of the car, leaving the engine on. If I remember correctly, the night of the 24th was ghoulishly cold. But I bet she didn't care. I bet the cold felt good. When she reached the pier, she looked out at the ocean, a black pit in the night. And gaining her courage, she slipped off her shoes, slowly unbuttoned her jeans. And then she lifted her shirt over her head. And she gathered her clothing. And then she walked over to a lonely bench. And she neatly placed her shoes, her shirt, and those skin-tight jeans over the back. And then she grabbed something she'd been keeping. She turned it over, otherwise still as if asking herself if she really wanted to do this. And then she turned around. She walked up to the barrier, knife still in hand. She opened it up and let the blade tease her thumb. And then she made the cut. You'd think that would hurt, but she didn't feel a thing. If anything, it made her feel more alive. And then she took the step up, and she dropped.